Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly my pleasure to kick off the 2019 Public Affairs Leader Development Forum by introducing our new Chief of Public Affairs, Brigadier General Amy Hanna.
Wow, it's great to see everybody here this morning. I hope everyone got an early start up and doing PT. I know several of you are excited to do that. So it's a great day to be a PAO and to be an Army communicator. I'm Brigadier General Amy Hanna, it's my honor to welcome you to the 2019 Public Affairs Forum. Together, we are going to shape Army communications for the future. Are you ready to get after it? Do I hear a Go Army? All right, how about an Army Strong? Army Strong. All right, it's great to see you. Truly, this is a very special forum for me. As I look out over the audience, I can remember times that I've sat with you over multiple decades, sitting among you to learn and expand my skills by engaging with military and industry leaders as they describe the best practices in communications for our industries and for our military. I hope this forum offers you the same return on investment that it has for me over the years. You know, we used to call this the WPAS, the Worldwide Public Affairs Symposium. When we reinitiated this a couple years ago, we decided that we think we should change the name. So we changed it to the Public Affairs Leader Development Forum. And it truly is a great forum. It's a great way to connect. This year we chose the theme of shaping communications for the Army of 2028. While that may seem a bit far in the future, I'm reminded of the great one, Wayne Gretzky, who once said, "I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been." Now, my 15-year-old nephew, who's a hockey player and a future soldier, so he tells me, I'm excited to see this as he gets a couple more years under him. He's the kind of person I think of when I think about the framework that we are operating in today, and I think of where we need to be going in the future. He and tens of thousands of others will operate in that framework that we take a hold of and we shape for that future as they join the Army team. So let's make it matter today for us and for them for the future. The future is why we've gathered some of the top talent in our field to discuss the challenges that we see on the horizon in the public affairs community. Many of you have been here for decades, for years, and many of you are just starting. When we were churning out, I think back on when we were churning out press releases on typewriters, faxing them, and actually having email integrated into our offices. Who can remember that? I definitely can. I remember someone, actually a major in our media relations division looking over at me and saying, "Hey partner, come on over here." Some of you may know who I'm talking about, who tell me how to send this email, how to do this attachment. So we have come so far when we were turning out those press releases, when a tweet was just a sound made by cartoon birds. But public affairs has adapted and times have changed and our force has changed along with those times. Our operational Army has changed and so has our headquarters of the Army. We're finding new ways to tell that Army story, doing what's most important and doing what we see, and it's truly recognized by our commanders as one of the most hard jobs in the Army. How and how often we communicate is a priority for our Army senior leaders. And we can all look forward to having them share their views on the communications enterprise and Army communications. I'm especially excited about hearing from the Secretary of the Army later this afternoon and to hear from the Vice Chief of Staff next week, later this week, tomorrow. We'll be discussing a lot during this forum, but I want to start with sharing some of the top priorities that we have for our career field. I've only been in this position less than a month, and I think this is a great way to start off, to have that discussion, to communicate where our senior leaders see us going, and to continue to take that on a path forward. First of all, we need to make sure that our communications efforts are synchronized and nested within the Army communications enterprise to ensure that we support the Secretary and the Chief's priorities. We will discuss communication synchronization throughout the forum, and we'll have the opportunity to provide input to the Army's annual communications plan. This plan is extremely important. It is scoped at the HQDA level, but we hope that it will provide a framework for you, for your commands, because that is truly going to be an important element as we move forward in our career field. The second priority is the professional development of the public affairs force. How do we assess? How do we recruit new PAOs? How do we shape the training? And how do we educate Army communicators and commanders for today's communications environment? It's up to us to bring that education into our battle staffs and into our command teams as we help shape their communications plan for their units and nested with ours at HQDA. I believe we need to fully leverage how we assess PAOs into the Army, and I'm going to make that a priority. We have different ways that we can pull those levers to come in, so we're going to be taking a hard look at the authorities and the capabilities that we have for that for the future. We all recognize that the information environment has changed, and that requires new innovations and new tools as well. That's why our third priority is a review of those tools and doctrine for how Army PAOs best fit into the new multi-domain operations concepts. And that will be guiding our path forward. As things get faster, the speed and agility of us as we integrate with these new formations are going to be critical in making sure that we are scoped as that new doctrine forms and those new organizations form as well. With those priorities in mind, this forum provides a great professional development opportunity and a platform to talk about those products and topics. Learning how we can improve our capabilities and effectiveness helps us in our careers. It strengthens our communication skill set and prepares us as we build public affairs readiness and modernize our tactics to tell the Army story to audiences across the globe. To do this, we have to have a plan and a way forward strategically. As we move down this path, telling the Army story with one voice becomes even more important. Synchronizing our messages across platforms, the Army ensures that our message is clear, it's consistent, and it's in concert. It prevents confusion and misinformation, and it's especially important as the media space evolves. Over the next 3 days, we're going to learn from each other. This is a great opportunity to collaborate with your coworkers and to meet others from other commands. As I've gone through these forums too, it's been a way for me to reconnect with those I rarely see. I have a million phone friends, and to really see someone face to face, it's really important. And that interaction can provide input as well to our leadership as they come and they hear from you in that dialogue and in those discussions. We have public affairs officers here from Europe, from Korea, from Hawaii, and from installations across North America. It will take all of us, officers, NCOs, and civilians, to prepare and pave this path forward. And I'd like to reflect on some of the accomplishments of our public affairs professionals deployed stateside and working at our installations. On the screens are a few examples and some of the Keith L. Ware Award-winning photos of our PAOs in recent operations. In the past few months, our PA professionals at IMCOM have been working closely with local communities. At Camp Zama, residents worked with Japanese volunteers to clean up the Sagami River and a local park for Earth Day. Across the world in Germany, Ansbach's environmental office was working with its local community in a similar Earth Day project with American and German school children who joined together at Soldiers Lake on Erlass to learn about water quality. Our public affairs officers stationed there told that Army story to promote the work we're doing in our local communities and to be good neighbors. A few days ago, public affairs officers from Schofield Barracks highlighted the return of the 25th ID and their operations and their work in Operation Spartan Shield, Inherent Resolve, and Freedom Sentinel. And our reserve officers and PAOs at Camp Arif Jan in Kuwait highlighted the 420th Transportation Battalion who are coming back to California. These are just several of the units and PAOs that have been deployed in combat zones around the world. And despite the obstacles where they've been working and what kind of environments they're working, commanders and their staff are truly, it's very important for them to ensure that the useful and quite truthful, on-target discussions about their operations are getting to the right audiences and at the right time. Army North, Army National Guard, and Army Reserve public affairs officers have been supporting American citizens devastated by natural disasters over the past year and 2 years. Hurricane Maria and also Hurricane Michael made landfall in different areas of our country. Soldiers provided the logistical support, search and rescue ops, and transportation and aviation support, bringing in vehicles and assistance to those in need. Public Affairs told that story every step of the way, reporting the conditions on the ground, about how the Army was responding, and the need and the agility of those response conditions. They also employed media as a conduit to tell the story to the American population, talking about pitching stories, sharing fact sheets, and ensuring media embeds throughout those operations. If you are in a command that has a legacy connection with the unit that participated in D-Day, you will probably already know about the numerous resources coming online for that. This is a great opportunity to tell our Army story about our command and how our predecessors sacrificed and fought to victory in World War II. PAOs at USER have been spending a better part of the year working on the ceremonies and the commemorations and the activities that will encompass those commemorations. I look forward personally to seeing how that shapes out. As I've come into this role, I've really been looking at the authorities for those soldiers that can go participate overseas in those venues. Specifically, I'm looking forward to the Point to Hawk ceremony and the scaling of the cliffs from the 75th Ranger Regiment that actually be reenacting that operation. We have Army Public Affairs also embedded in our other organizations as well, and they're here with us. Some of them are here with us today from NATO. Here we add value by sharing the Army story with our allies and partners, and we look forward and we look to show our involvement in operations and how that makes our entire partnership and allies strong and agile. Our PAOs are working in these positions closely with other nations. In fact, one of our partners from Norway, I'm looking out in the audience, it's hard to see, is here. Eystein, it's good to see you. He's here from Norway. He used to be in the Norwegian Ministry of Defense, and he's going to tell us a little more about Operation Trident Juncture later this week. Unfortunately, I had to come back to D.C., and I couldn't participate. So I am looking at Juanita, and she's shaking her head. I'm sure it was a great allied event. We have some great opportunities for networking here, and it's important to make those connections and to leverage how we move forward. As you've seen the program has evolved since we first reinitiated the Public Affairs Forum. We're divided into multiple tracks, one on content development, one on operationalizing Army communications, others on social media and research-based communications and visual production. And we have 2 workshop sessions that focus on media training, and those are extremely important. These sessions were developed specifically with you in mind to meet the Army's readiness priority from a communication standpoint. As public affairs professionals, we are the commanders or leaders of our organization's trusted communications strategist and media expert, and we must have an in-depth understanding of both our audiences and as well to be effective with the media to be able to reach those right audiences. Our role is to help commanders tell the Army story to the world, keeping soldiers, Army civilians, and the American people informed about what we're doing and how we are doing it. We want to sustain that trust and confidence from the American people that they have in our military in general and our Army specifically. This is part of our public affairs mission, and it is built into everything that we do. The Secretary is reviewing General Order Number 1 soon that gives us the authorities to operate in many of those domains, and it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. As I've taken this role, it really is an important element that we need to understand and how we gain our authorities and why we are operating as public affairs officers. To this end, we are a leading source of Army information. We control the narrative. We protect the Army's reputation, and we inform and shape the public's discussion about the Army. We bring that context. To do this, again, our message has to be synchronized Army-wide, and it has to have and understanding, and we've got to use the most modern methods and advanced techniques to reach our audiences in this competitive information environment. And knowing what that information environment is about is critical as well. There's a lot of noise out there, and we want our voice to be heard and to be understood. And that means we have to be innovative as we shape ourselves into leading-edge communicators for the future. ACPA is here to help you integrate that strategic message into our public affairs products that we produce. And in addition to the CPA sends that we send out every month, we've got the public affairs portal that is a resource and a depository for some of our products, and an open line of communication with our headquarters staff, specifically through our PA channels. And we've got several new tools that we've got on the horizon that I want to talk about really quickly and that you'll be able to explore through the conference. We're changing the way we communicate with you based on your feedback. This summer, we're launching an Army app for iOS and Android platforms. DMD is working very diligently on this and making sure that it is in its beta test mode right now. I just had it loaded on my phone. And that will provide really a synergy of all of our digital media platforms and a focus on what we're putting out on the web for ease of use in an app format. We're doing that because nearly 60% of American adults get their news through mobile devices. And those numbers are even higher with younger audiences. And this will be a great opportunity for you to participate in that, to get your story in the hands and the eyes of users. We also look forward to your feedback on revamping CORE. You've heard about CORE 3, or you'll hear about CORE 3 later in this morning in the presentation from the Digital Media Division. And they'll have team members standing by outside that we can all take a look at it. Our headquarters staff at ACPA is dedicated to providing you and your commander pertinent, useful products that will help you localize the policy announcements that we tell for the Army story together. Since I've been in the job, I've talked to 3 PCC courses, the pre-command courses, at the battalion and brigade command level. And I asked them at the beginning of my pitch every time, who has seen the CPA sends? Half of them have, half of them haven't. And it's imperative for you to engage your commanders at the division level and at the brigade level with those products, and to help use those products to localize them for their team. They should know how to do that, and they should be working closely with their brigade commanders as they step in to do, or their brigade command teams to do that, and the PAO team. So that's an important ask that I have of you as you go back, making sure that you're getting those and that you have a distribution network in your teams to do that. In our Strategy and Plans Division, we synchronize communications rollouts for our high visibility Army program initiatives. There are some of you sitting in the auditorium who have helped with standing up Army Futures Command. Where's Pat? Yeah, all right. And several others of you who have supported the senior leaders as we've shaped that new command for the future. Instituting the Army Combat Fitness Test. Who's all taken it yet? Have any of you? I have. I've taken it. I know what I need to work on. And so it's in your interest to take it now because I'm working on it. It's good. Synchronizing the rollout of the personnel policy updates that we have. We have several initiatives that have been announced over the past several months, and we're looking forward to about 4 more initiatives that are really important to be able to bring our family teams together. Those products are coming out to you from the CPA sends, and it gives you a tailored overview of the current initiatives in our strategic messaging. Our outreach division is our liaison office between Army internal communications and the public, and we support the leadership's messaging priorities and the Army priorities in the sessions enterprise across America. Outreach has really expanded their role and their view in that effort. And they put an enormous amount of energy into connecting with the sessions and expanding the Meet Your Army initiative, and that's been really successful to reach potential influencers in areas and ways that we haven't focused before. Our Media Relations Division is our vital role to execute that overall strategy to the media. They're the belly button in the Pentagon for the Pentagon Press Corps, and they're the press call center for breaking news. We actually had a little huddle this morning on an initiative on a series of queries that are going on right now. They set the stage for key engagements for AUSA's meeting coming up in October, and they leverage over 100 media outlets that attend that event. They also coordinate with you to make sure you're represented there to tell the Army story, especially when you look at this region here around the Pentagon and the DC environment. That's important for your connection to us and through that platform. As we look forward to the future, we've got some initiatives that will shape and modernize our PAO community in our public affairs proponency lane. And APAC has been a forefront of these initiatives. They have teed up some hard work and some deliberate decisions that I look forward to talking with some of the senior leaders here, and I look forward to hearing from the Secretary's view later on today on those initiatives. Speaking about the best people who have been here and who are here in the room with us, we have about 3,000 communicators across our Army, in our Army of 1 million people. You were chosen to be part of that because you are one of the best professionals in our career field. And the Army leadership has entrusted you to serve as the master communicators for our units and to share their priorities and shape our commanders' priorities. So to sustain that tempo and remain competitive in the evolving profession, we've got to embrace a lifelong learning attitude and to be committed to our professional development. And this event provides just that. It was strategically designed to provide professional and leadership development. The networking you will do here will bring readiness back to you as communicators and also back to your commands. We expect you to take what you learn here from this forum back to your field so that you can share it. Before I came over to OCPA, I was able to visit 8th Army and USFK, and really they had a similar forum at their level, coordinated with the ROC Army, and it was quite amazing to see the synergy and the work that they're doing. And that is something that I really want to encourage all of you at the clusters of where we're at to continue to have this professional development. And the other thing that I would ask is that you take a look at your unit public affairs programs, and we're going to be rolling out some marketing initiatives and some to really reach those that have heard about public affairs, that want to know more about public affairs so that we can collaborate and bring them in. And it's part of our responsibility as PAOs to do that, to identify those that are going to be our future communicators. But it's also important to talk to our commanders, because the commanders can help frame and highlight who those people should be and bring them over. And so we'll look at some of those initiatives as well. So as we move down this path together, we have a goal and we're mapping our way forward. My thanks to each of you for showing your dedication by attending the forum. It's a dynamic time for our Army, for the Army Communications Enterprise, and I'm personally excited to have you here today for what I think is going to be an exceptional professional development opportunity. You are the voice of our Army. Thank you for your service and your leadership and your hard work that you put forward every day for our soldiers, civilians, our family members, and for our Army. Go Army. Army strong. Thank you. So I think we've got a few minutes. Do we want to have any questions of me before we start and move on to our next forum? All right, anybody? Come on.
I'll ask a question.
Yes, thank you. Well, I think we're going to hear from the Secretary today on that, and I look forward to his remarks on that. I am truly honored to be in this role and to lead our force. There are many that could be here, and I'm humbled that I was selected. it is not without a doubt that Army communications expertise is inherent in who we are as a community. And it's clear in my selection that our Army leadership recognizes that and values that. And I do look forward to seeing who is going to come in behind me. I really do. And I think it's important that we take control of how we perform as leaders in the field, and how we show relevance and value to our commanders. Because that promotion board is a promotion board, and it is it's an indicator that they value who we are and what we do. So I do hope that that continues, but I don't have a crystal ball in the future. But I really am encouraged by and honored to be here. Thanks, Marnie. Yep, back, Kelly.
Of what is happening in the Army right now and being a priority. Oh, get a microphone. With accessions being a priority for the Secretary right now, how do you see the public affairs enterprise integrating with marketing to help move forward with accessions?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks. I was really fortunate to come back from NATO. It was hard to leave NATO. Nita's been great. She was awesome in the transition, but it was great for me to go to Army Marketing and Research Group for several months. And in that experience, I really saw, and it opened my eyes to marketing techniques and marketing strategies, and where the reform efforts for our accessions community is moving to. And there are, without going into the details of that, there's a way forward, and I'm encouraged by that way forward. When you look at branding and you look at our communications enterprise, we all swim in that same space. We as public affairs communicators have equity in that space. And it's important to understand that larger brand narrative, and it's important to understand the marketing accessions brand narrative, which is a component of that larger strategy. And being able to integrate how that view is not only in our messaging, in our brand narrative, but also in our visual information space. And the visual information graphics that we have and that we use on a regular basis are based on our brand strategy and our marketing strategy, and that's critical. And so we as communicators need to learn about that, need to understand it as we move from our previous marketing, our ad agency to the new ad agency, and seeing what's going to come in that space. We have equity in that, and we need to be paying attention and be part of that. I look forward to seeing how that rolls out. I know they're doing a transition right now, and that we'll stay tuned to that. How we work in the accessions community, you know, in the reform efforts, there's a task, the accessions task force, and it's really been a matrixed organization that has brought together several different organizations that are out there, and we've had maybe 4 iterations of our fusion board that we meet with every quarter, maybe 3 iterations by now. But we're identifying elements that are out there operating across the states, really, and they're doing their lane and bringing the equities and fusing their efforts together into a holistic plan has been pretty amazing. And so as we get better at that, that will, I think, also shape how we do that in messaging and how we do that in the digital domain. To just kind of talk a little bit, too, about that digital space, I really do believe that the digital space leads many ways today to reach our audience, especially when you talk and you think through the lens of who is in our Army and who is coming into our Army. And the age demographics of that audience is important. And so that digital space is a critical component to framing and shaping that strategy. And whether it's paid media, which is our advertising lane, or whether it's earned media, it all ends up together. and it all swims in that space. So we have to understand those equities. We have to understand the vulnerabilities, because when you have awareness, which is broad what we do and what outreach does in many ways, there is a funnel, though, to the recruiting accessions lane. And that funnel means marketing, it means advertising, and it has a different connection at different areas in that funnel as to how you attract or recruit and retain a soldier. So it's an important piece of how we frame the move forward with the new agency. Thanks for that question, Kelly. Any other questions? Okay. So so I look forward to today. I'm going to go ahead and exit here. Where's my moderator? All right, you're here. All right. So again, I just want to say thanks for coming. I know it's hard to leave your commands and hard to take time away. I do want to encourage you to take back what you've done here and have small mini OPDs with your units. I am more than happy to try and get out of the building, though it will take me some time probably to be able to do that, but I look forward to doing that, and I look forward to joining your team. So as you scope out your forums that you'll hold in your areas, reach out to my team so that we can possibly engage Sergeant Major Bobby, Eric Bloom from the headquarters team are always there to help shape and frame those discussions with you, and I look forward to doing that as well. So thanks a lot.